In the gaslit glow of New York City circa 1908, the most audacious conman in American history plied his craft. George C. Parker, a maestro of deception, orchestrated grand illusions to dupe unsuspecting victims. He didn't peddle trinkets, he sold the very fabric of the city, piece by piece, to the wide-eyed and the naive. Parker was a man who not only sold the Brooklyn Bridge multiple times, but also crafted an entire ecosystem of forgery and deceit to back up his outlandish claims. Born in 1860 in New York, Parker honed a particular specialty, selling what didn't belong to him, and doing it with such flair that his victims often had no idea they'd been had until it was far too late. At the heart of Parker's success was his mastery of forgery. He produced elaborate fake deeds, impressive contracts, and ornate certificates of ownership, each crafted with an astonishing degree of detail that mimicked real legal documents. He even paid attention to the seals and signatures, often copying or inventing credible-sounding officials and institutions to validate his claims. To seal the deal, Parker would sometimes operate out of lavishly furnished offices, complete with American flags, framed photos of landmarks, and even bogus legal clerks ready to process the paperwork. He understood the psychology of trust. A professional setting put his victims, many of them newly arrived immigrants, eager for a piece of the American dream, at ease. The surroundings made the unbelievable seem legitimate. However, he did not operate unscathed. In fact, he found himself in jail multiple times through his career as a conman. In one legendary incident, after being detained and awaiting trial, Parker escaped custody by impersonating a sheriff. According to period accounts, he obtained a stolen sheriff's uniform, calmly put it on, and then ordered the guards to release him. Wearing the uniform and walking with the air of authority, Parker simply strode out the front door of the courthouse without anyone questioning him. A testament to how deeply he understood the power of appearances. Though he was later recaptured, the stunt only enhanced his mythos. Of his many exploits, his most infamous masterpiece was the Brooklyn Bridge. A steel leviathan, a testament to human ingenuity, it loomed large in the imaginations of newly arrived immigrants. Parker, with his slicked-back hair and a twinkle in his eye that could charm the scales off a serpent, saw not just steel and stone, but a canvas for his elaborate deceptions. According to historical accounts, he sold the bridge twice a week for years to unsuspecting marks. Some buyers even attempted to monetize their new property by setting up toll booths on the bridge, aiming to collect fees from pedestrians and horse-drawn carriages. Local police became so accustomed to the sight of bewildered newcomers erecting toll gates that it became almost a routine task to remove them and explain that the bridge was public property and that private ownership was not an option. Parker's scams caused enough commotion that officers would joke that someone trying to set up a toll booth was likely another one of Parker's customers. Parker's ambition wasn't confined to just the bridge. His portfolio of fraudulent sales extended to some of New York's most revered landmarks. Among them was the Statue of Liberty. In one infamous con, Parker claimed to represent the US government and offered Lady Liberty herself for sale, suggesting that the new owner could charge admission fees to visitors wanting to climb to the crown. As with the Brooklyn Bridge scheme, Parker would present forged documentation, including a deed of ownership and permits from the non-existent United States Statue Commission. He also claimed rights to Madison Square Garden. Parker would rent an opulent office near the site, claiming he was a direct representative of the property's owners. To lend authenticity to his pitch, he often arranged tours of the building, sometimes bribing janitors or security staff to allow his clients a closer look, reinforcing the illusion that a sale was legitimate. His targets were led to believe they were about to acquire one of New York's most prestigious venues for what seemed like a bargain price. One particularly well-documented instance involved a recent Polish immigrant, a man named Joseph Lubelski, who had arrived in the city with dreams of prosperity. Parker, spotting Lubelski's wide-eyed wonder at the bridge, approached him near the bustling South Street seaport. With a carefully crafted tale of government liquidation and a veneer of officialdom, Parker presented himself as a representative of a fictitious municipal assets disposal commission. He claimed the city was divesting itself of the bridge, offering Lubelski a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Parker produced meticulously forged documents, complete with official-looking seals and elaborate legal jargon. He even arranged a staged meeting with supposed city officials in a dimly lit back room of a tavern, where they further reinforced his claims. He spoke of the lucrative toll rights, painting a picture of Lubelski as a wealthy magnate, collecting fortunes from every carriage and pedestrian that crossed the bridge. The price? A mere $2,000, a sum that only represented Lubelski's entire life savings. Lubelski, overwhelmed by the prospect of such wealth and the apparent legitimacy of the deal, handed over his money. He even purchased rope and planks with the intent of building his toll booths. His rude awakening came when he attempted to set up his toll collection at the Brooklyn entrance to the bridge. The police, initially bewildered, quickly realized the situation and apprehended Lubelski, who was in turn utterly confused and devastated. The incident, which occurred in late November of 1908, spread like wildfire through the immigrant communities of the Lower East Side. The sheer audacity of the scheme, the cold calculation with which Parker had preyed on Lubelski's hopes, sent ripples of fear and distrust throughout the city. However, Parker's reign of deception was not to last forever. The NYPD, growing weary of the recurring spectacle of duped bridge owners and the increasingly frequent complaints of his other fraudulent sales, began to close in. Detective Sergeant John "Iron Jaw" Mahoney, a man known for his relentless pursuit of con artists, took a personal interest in Parker's case. Mahoney, after months of painstaking investigation, pieced together Parker's elaborate network of accomplices and the intricate web of forged documents he used. He tracked Parker's movements, following him from the smoky back rooms of lower Manhattan saloons to the bustling markets of the Bowery. In December of 1928, after a particularly brazen attempt to sell the Statue of Liberty to a group of Kansas tourists, Mahoney finally apprehended Parker in a dingy hotel room on the Lower East Side. Parker, ever the performer, tried to charm his way out of the situation, but Mahoney was unmoved. The evidence was overwhelming. Parker was convicted on multiple counts of fraud and grand larceny. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in Sing Sing Correctional Facility in Ossining, New York. There, the Count of Confidence, as he was sometimes called, spent the rest of his days, a legend confined to the cold grey walls of a prison cell. He died in 1936. His legacy, however, lived on, etched into the city's folklore, a cautionary tale of the seductive power of illusion and the enduring gullibility of human nature.